Once upon a time, deep within the heart of the Whispering Woods, there was a place where magic was as common as the moonlight. In this enchanted grove, fairies of all kinds spent their nights dancing and soaring through the canopy. Among them was Luma, a young fairy with a heart full of wonder and wings that shimmered like pearls. But Luma had a secret. While the others flew with ease, she struggled to stay in the air for more than a few seconds. The other fairies didn't mean to be mean, but their gentle laughter felt like a heavy weight on Luma's tiny shoulders. She sighed, wondering if she would ever be a real fairy. Her heart felt as dim as a dying ember. From high above, the Fairy Queen watched. She knew that Luma's path would be different, and perhaps much harder. Luma decided to try one more time. She closed her eyes tight and focused all her energy. But instead of a grand display, only tiny, weak sparks flickered from her fingertips before fading away. All around her, the forest was alive with powerful magic. Rainbows arched through the trees and flowers sang in the night. Embarrassed, Luma ducked behind a giant petal. She didn't want anyone to see her failure. Luma felt a strange warmth in her chest. "Believe in myself?" she repeated. She knew what she had to do. Suddenly, a soft light filled the space behind the petal. A glowing butterfly descended from the canopy. "Magic isn't something you have, Luma," the butterfly seemed to say. "It's something you are. Believe in yourself." Luma felt a strange warmth in her chest. "Believe in myself?" she repeated. She knew what she had to do. She spent the morning packing a tiny leaf bag. If she couldn't find magic here, she would find it out there. With one last look at her home, Luma turned away. She was heading into the unknown. The deeper woods were quiet and mysterious. Every rustle of a leaf made her heart race. High in a knotted oak, she met a wise old squirrel. He watched her with bright, knowing eyes. "Don't go looking for magic in the mountains, little one," he chattered. "The truest magic is already inside you." Soon, the path ended at the banks of the great blue river. The water roared like 1,000 lions. The only bridge was broken. Luma stood at the edge, the spray of the water cold on her face. She tried to fly, but the wind was too strong. Her wings felt heavy, and for a moment she was terrified. "I can't do this," she cried. The river seemed so big, and she felt so very small. Then she remembered the butterfly's words. "Believe in yourself." She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She felt a spark of warmth deep inside. Not a magic spark, but a spark of courage. With a mighty leap, she threw herself into the air. Her wings beat faster than they ever had before. She tumbled onto the grass of the far bank, gasping for air. She had done it. She had crossed the great blue river. Luma stood up and dusted off her petal dress. For the first time, she felt like a hero in her own story. But the journey was far from over. A strange, dark fog began to creep through the woods, turning day into night. Luma wandered in circles. The trees seemed to shift and change in the gloom. She was lost. Strange sounds echoed through the mist. The forest, once so friendly, now felt cold and threatening. She felt the fear returning, cold and sharp. "I want to go home," she sobbed into the darkness. Then, right at her feet, a tiny moon lily began to glow. It wasn't a big light, but it was enough to see by. One by one, more lilies bloomed, lighting a path through the dark. Luma followed them, her hope returning. At last, the fog thinned and vanished. Luma stepped out into the golden light of the mountain meadow. She was safe. But right in the middle of the only path up the mountain lay a dragon. He was as big as a hill and twice as scaly. Luma dove behind a rock. She could hear the dragon's breath, a deep rhythmic sound like distant thunder. The dragon stirred. He stretched his great wings and let out a yawn that shook the very ground Luma stood on. He snorted, sending a cloud of hot smoke into the air. Luma squeezed her eyes shut, waiting for the end. Her wings were trembling so hard she could barely stay still. "I have to do something," she whispered. She stepped out into the open. She didn't have big magic, but she had her tiny sparks, and she had her courage. Luma cast her spell. The tiny spark flew through the air and landed, pop, right on the dragon's nose. The dragon's nose twitched. He scrunched up his face and, achoo! He sneezed a sneeze that blew the clouds away. Then he began to laugh, a deep belly-shaking laugh that sounded like rolling boulders. "Well, that's a new way to wake up," he rumbled. "You are a brave little fairy to stand before a dragon," he said. "I haven't seen such courage in a long, long time." The dragon stepped aside, bowing his great head. "Go on, little hero. Your destiny is waiting at the top." Luma climbed higher and higher until the world below looked like a patchwork quilt of greens and blues. And there it was, the ancient fairy tree. Its trunk was made of silver, and its leaves were pure glowing light. "Welcome, Luma," the tree whispered. "We have been waiting for you. The journey has been long, hasn't it?" "You sought magic in the world," the tree said. "But magic is not a thing to be found. It is a seed that grows with courage." Luma reached out. As her fingers touched the bark, she felt a surge of energy, warm and bright as a summer sun. The light swallowed her whole. It wasn't scary. It felt like a warm hug from the very heart of the forest. Her wings began to change. They grew brighter and stronger, shimmering with every color of the rainbow. Luma felt a new power flowing through her. She closed her eyes, and for the first time, she didn't doubt herself. She cast a spell, and a brilliant starburst of light filled the air. It was beautiful. It was hers. "I did it!" she cried, her voice echoing across the mountain. "I really did it!" She tried again and again. Every movement of her hands created a new wonder. The mountain peak was alive with her light. She reached for the sky and painted the night with new stars. Her magic wasn't small anymore. It was as big as her heart. She took to the air, her wings beating strong and steady. She wasn't just hovering, she was soaring. She finally understood. The magic had always been there, just waiting for her to believe it was possible. It was time to go home. Luma dove into the clouds, her heart light and her wings powerful. The fairies of the Whispering Woods looked up. A star was falling from the mountain. No, it was something else. When Luma landed, a hush fell over the crowd. They had never seen a fairy glow with such intensity. "Watch this," Luma said with a wink. She danced through the air, weaving a tapestry of light that took everyone's breath away. The entire forest was transformed. The shadows vanished, replaced by a warm, golden radiance that made every leaf shimmer. A great cheer went up from the grove. "Luma! Luma!" they chanted. They didn't see a clumsy fairy anymore. They saw a master of magic. The fairy queen stepped forward, her silver gown shimmering. The forest grew quiet as she spoke. "Luma," she said, her voice like soft music. "You have done what many could not. You found the source of all true magic." "True magic is not found in spells or wands," she declared. "True magic is the courage to believe in yourself when the world is dark. Today, I crown you Luma, the brave fairy of the Whispering Woods. May your light always guide us." Luma didn't just use her magic for show. She spent her days helping the younger fairies find their own inner light. "Don't be afraid of the small sparks," she would tell them. "Every great fire starts with just one tiny glow." The Whispering Woods grew brighter and happier every day. The magic of confidence was the most powerful spell of all. The very air was filled with music. The forest itself seemed to be singing a song of joy and bravery. Everyone joined in the celebration. Even the dragon came down from the mountain to dance a slow, heavy jig. High above the dance, a familiar light appeared. The glowing butterfly returned one last time. "You found it, Luma," it seemed to whisper. "The magic was always yours." And with a final sparkle, it vanished into the stars. Luma watched it go, her heart full. She knew she would never doubt herself again. She took one last flight, soaring high above the canopy, her starlight crown leaving a trail across the velvet sky. That trail is still there tonight. If you look closely, you can see the light of Luma's courage twinkling in the dark. The Whispering Woods may be hidden, but its lessons are for everyone. No matter how small you feel, no matter how dim your light might seem, you have a magic all your own, just waiting to be found. So, keep dreaming, keep trying, and above all, keep believing. Goodbye for now, little hero, because the world needs your light. Believe in yourself, and the magic will follow. The end. All rights reserved. 2024. See you in the next adventure.